All right, we'll get started. Jess, welcome to Rome. You've had some good results on clay this year. What are your thoughts coming into this tournament?
Yeah, excited to be here. Ready to get going tomorrow on the clay. Hopefully, yeah, get some good matches here and feel comfortable on the clay, and hopefully can continue to have a good season. So just taking it one day at a time.
Hey, Jess. You didn't play clay last year pretty much at all. When you come into a situation like that, I don't know if you've come into a situation like that before, but is it sort of like a huge opportunity to grab points? Is it something of a free hit? Does it take pressure off in any way? Does it mess with your mind in some sense? How do you get to it?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I remember when I skipped this last year, there's so much pressure to like perform at the end of the year because I remember I wanted to try and still make finals, but missing so many events was going to be tough. And then obviously I end up going on a crazy run in the summer, and then that kind of ends and you're like, oh no, like I'm going to have to defend that next year. But then you have this swing where I don't have nothing to defend. And then it's kind of like you go back and forth where you're like, oh, I hope I can make up some ground to protect myself for the end of the year. But then that also puts pressure on you to do well because you have nothing to defend. So I don't know. You can look at it so many ways. I feel like in tennis, if you're defending every week, it's a good problem to have. That means you've been playing some good tennis. So it just kind of depends how you look at it. I think for me, I'm just excited because I missed all of these events. I missed playing a slam. I missed the French. And at the same time, I haven't been here in 2 years, and it feels like I was just here. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I was just here, and I didn't even play last year. So it's crazy how your mind goes through all these different kind of scenarios where it flies by, but yet seems, it's been 2 years. It's been a while since I had a full clay season and stuff like that. But trying this year, obviously, to just take advantage of it as much as I can. But on the bright side of it, I guess, I'm not trying to put too much pressure on myself, just kind of treating it as any other swing.
So just following up on that, so last year when you did miss this period, but then you obviously performed so well in the summer, did that like teach you or tell you that, no matter what happens, you're good and you'll find your level at some point?
Yeah, it definitely, it taught me that for sure because I played so many matches for, a couple years there that having time it made me kind of anxious as to like whether I was able to come back and still play at a high level. And I didn't have a good start to the year last year, really, even in Australia. So I was already kind of stressed, missing the Middle East swing, and then ended up missing clay. And it was just a lot going on. So I think originally I was kind of freaking out about it a little bit at home, and there's nothing you can do. And I fractured my ribs, so I couldn't even like train for a while. You're just kind of sitting around. And you see everybody playing and getting better and winning, and that can be tough. But I think, yeah, after a certain point, I was like, it shouldn't really matter that much. Like, I'm not going to forget how to play tennis. And, yeah, I was able to kind of use that in a good way to come back and win Berlin. And then even though I didn't have amazing results, through the Olympics, I still felt like I was playing really well. And, it finally just kind of clicked once I got back on the hard. So hot.
Hey, Jess.
It's like sweating. Hi. Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, really? No, it's fine. I'll survive.
I was just wondering if you watched any of Carlos Alcaraz's documentary on Netflix and what you thought of it if you did, and how you look back on your own experience of having your life and career being documented for a Netflix series.
I did not watch it yet. I'm not sure I will, to be honest. Maybe one day. It's like too much tennis for me. I don't feel like I need to watch anymore. I'm living it, so I don't need to kind of, relive the emotions. But it was interesting with Netflix. I mean, obviously a new experience for me. Once I got to kind of know the crew and it was consistent with the same people, you definitely feel more comfortable around them. And it's hard because you're trying to focus on your career and your game and what you need to do. But at the same time, I do think it's nice when people kind of let in let a camera crew or someone kind of in on the inside of what's going on. I think it just makes people much more relatable, which I can appreciate. I don't know if I could ever get to that point, but I do appreciate when other athletes are able to do that, to give that kind of real insight, and it gives the chance for fans to either understand or get inside his mind or just relate to things on a different level. Even though he is obviously a massive star, he's still going through, real life things, as we all are. And so sometimes I think it's really nice for fans and other people to kind of get a glimpse of the human side of athletes, and that, we're not just robots, and it doesn't matter how many Grand Slams you have. So I don't know if I could eventually get there, but you do have to give them, kind of a lot of access to really see what's going on, because a lot of the stuff that happens is you can't plan for it. You can't plan for them to shoot a really tough moment. It's kind of like we just have to be there and kind of see that. But I mean, I've loved the athletes that have done it, especially in the other ones, in golf and F1. You can really see the emotional side of that. I think it's great for tennis, but so maybe one day I'll watch it.
At Wimbledon last year, you said that there's when two players who are the same age play each other, it's always extra interesting. So I was wondering how that's sort of happened for you over the course of your career, and also when you think of the 1994 generation, it's yourself, Svitolina, Jabeur, who are still standing, I guess. And would you have predicted that when you were juniors?
I've never really thought about that before playing. I just get freaked out when there's a girl like 10 years younger than me, and I feel so old. But I think it's cool that, you come up in the same age as somebody, you kind of see your careers kind of grow at the same time. And I've kind of felt that way a little bit with Ons, just because we were both not really top. I don't think she was like a top junior. We never came out like supposed to be top 10 in the world. Kind of struggled with injuries, struggled with physical stuff. And I remember playing her when we were ranked about the same, somewhere in the 80s or 70s or 80s or 90s. And I remember when she kind of broke out and had a couple good wins, and then I would. And then just to kind of see how we both kind of moved up around the same time. And I didn't know that she was exactly in 94. I knew we were close in age. But yeah, seeing stuff like that, I think it is cool, because you're kind of on a similar journey and a similar path. And it's cool to see that we both, at one point, did figure it out. Obviously, there's a lot of bumps in the roads either way with whatever you're trying to achieve, and injuries, and every year is different. But it's pretty cool to kind of go on that journey together. And I think at the end of the day, when we started out and we were ranked, 80 and struggling and doing all this stuff, that you can appreciate the journey that we've been on, and that's kind of the entire point of what we do. It's not always just the matches that we win. It's kind of the journey of bouncing back from those injuries, bouncing back from tough losses, and still being able to play at the top of the game. So yeah, I really appreciate those moments. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. With a name like Pegula, do you have connections to this country?
I'm not Italian,
Not
no.
Italian at
Everyone
all?
thinks so. It's not Italian. It
Oh.
sounds cool in Italian, like it is, but it's not.
Right. Okay. Were you raised Catholic? I'm just curious if you have any connection to the conclave or paying attention or anything like that.
I've been learning a little bit about it. My dad's side was Catholic, but I didn't really grow up Catholic, more Christian. But no, I've have one friend that is obsessed with it, and so she's like, you got to watch the movie, and she's sending me these things of how it all works and it happens. So I'm starting to learn about it, but I know that it's obviously a very big deal right now. Cool. Thank you, guys.